afternoon, everyone. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Melanie, you look different with your hair tied up.
I do.
It is hot today. Well, it is in Cape Town. I don't know about your side of the
No,
world.
it's a little cold here, actually.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, no, sure. Yeah, I'm like, I want to tie everything up. It's extremely hot. I am getting you on board again. I know you'll help me. And
No worries.
I'm doing the same with you, Chantal. I know then you guys help me because I can't do both screens at the same time. Oh, what have done? Sorry, give me a second just to get my help all sorted out, and then we are going to jump straight in. Oh, I think I've lost you. Alphabetically, there we go. Oh, again, it just keeps on jumping. Okay, never mind. I've got Melody on. That is helping me. I am recording, so I'm doing all of the right stuff. Can I see with some thumbs up or thumbs down whether you were in yesterday's session? Just so I know how many of you were in there. Okay, fantastic. So it seems like majority of you were in the first one. We will do a little recap, but I'm always happy to know that you were in already. Let me quickly just do a screen share here. Share, and we're going to do from the current slide. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, so let's hit the road. Obviously, this is our second session, and in the second session, we are looking at content. I will do a little bit of a recap just of yesterday, making sure we are making some progress. If I can see some more emojis, who of you have done anything, even if it's a banner change or a profile picture change since yesterday? Okay, lots of thumbs up. I love it. People are taking action, which obviously is the very first step we need to take is action. Hit it off. I want you to go look on the same page that you used to register for the LinkedIn. So it's on my website, liznanel.com, upcoming events. You'll see the business planning clinic. I know some of you are on there already. Just watch out because they look the same, but they're different. The one on the 2nd of December is an in-person one. That we'll be doing in Bellville. So if you are in the rounds, it's obviously my first prize is if I can see you face to face, then we can do it. But I also wanted to bring it to those of you that are in other provinces. So on the 4th of December, I am doing one online, an online webinar. So make sure that you RSVP, it falls into one of those two. I'm extremely excited about this because I never go into a new year without extensive planning. And sometimes when people start with the planning, they don't always know where do they go? Where do they start? They've got so many plans, but how do we put a plan together that's easier for us to put into action and also for us to kind of track ourselves to see what are we doing? Are we hitting our goals? Because obviously, plans are great, but if there's no action to the plans or it's not broken down in a way that you can really step up into your new year, you can get lost. So I get very passionate about this. I'll probably try and do a repeat of it in January for anyone that is a bit of a late planner. But I do think it is such an important part of what we need to do as plan for our new year. So a little recap on yesterday. Why LinkedIn? I think I extensively spoke about that, the amount of users, the quality of users. So for real estate agents, that is key. And then for you to obviously start on your landing page. So with your profile, positioning yourself as the go-to agent in your area and also in a specific field. So your niche little market, are you serving families? Are you doing luxury property? Are you doing rentals? Like decide on that specific portfolio. And then you need to remember this. This is what's very different from any other social media platform. LinkedIn's visibility is earned through engagement. So I gave you those little tips on engagement. And I did ask, and you gave me some thumbs up for those that has taken some action. So well done. That makes me excited for today, because if nobody does anything, then I can tell you lots of stuff and lots of secrets, but we're not going to get anywhere. So I'm excited by the fact that you are taking action. So yeah, I have just pulled in a couple of the different banners that I've got for myself, just to give you some ideas, and also for you to kind of get the vibe that this is not a branding thing like you would normally do a branding thing on company colors or sticking to similar things. You want to like brighten it up. You want to make it different. You'll see the big hole that I'm leaving here on all of them, and that is because the profile picture is always going to go over this area. You can write this down for yourself because, say, for example, you go on Canva, this is the size you're going to be looking for. So 1584 by 396 pixels. And then obviously you just duplicate them and you make them all into that one little artwork place, and you chop and change and you download from there. On the next page, I've got some more examples. So it'll go from anything to everything. And like I said, you want to have fun with this. It needs to not be your uptight, always the same profile picture. It needs to engage on a different, it needs to hit a different note than you would normally go for your boards or your light boxes or whatever else you've got out there. So just a couple of examples of what I'm using, and then that size that is super duper important. Make sure that you've got that size written down, so you're not cutting things off and you're not losing when you put it into that landing page banner. Okay, so let's get to the important part for today's lesson, which is why content matters and understanding what LinkedIn wants for your content as well. So the first thing is the fact that I spoke yesterday about being yourself, like that authenticity, really carrying through who you are on your page of LinkedIn. So your content really is your voice. So it is like someone, you speaking on behalf of yourself when you're not in a room, because when they enter that LinkedIn profile, it's like entering a little hub of yourself where you really get to show off who you are, things you're interested in, things that you like, but all with a professionalism sphere. So you want all of that to have the consistency of that first things that I just told you about. Who you are, what are you addressing, and which is the area that you're addressing that in. So your content will give you the authenticity, but it also give you authority of, you know who you are, you know what you're doing, and you are consistently posting on that same subject. So to buyers, to sellers, to the rental market, whatever it is that you chose that avatar to be. And that consistency and authority will carry through as trust, where people feel, I know this person, I want to work with this person, this is someone that I feel I can relate to because of what they are portraying on a professional page. So no posting equals you are invisible. So even if you've got a great profile, we do need to get to the content part. So yesterday was all about that basics, you building that profile. And remember, you're never done with that. You can always just start, and don't aim for perfection, aim for starting. Aim for increasing the banner. Aim for having 2 or 3 banners that you can switch. And just the switch of a banner, of that little landing page banner, will give you more attraction and more visibility because it's action and it's engagement on your page. So make sure that you start off and don't overthink it. You can always later on laugh and go like, oh my word, that was such a silly banner. But at least you had a banner and you were chopping and changing it. It wasn't the same one that was on there for the last 5 or 6 years, because that is not serving you at all. And then obviously we get to the posting. And like I said yesterday, I'm going to repeat it again today. Content is important for us, but rather than trying your bestest to come up with content and it's not authentically you, it doesn't serve what you're trying to serve, rather do not post. Rather have 1 or 2 posts a week than having 5 posts, like 1 every day, but that post is not something that really speaks to you. It's something so generic, and it's not something that hits home for that avatar client that you're looking for. So important is that your visibility creates opportunity. Remember, I said yesterday, and I'm going to repeat it today, the one thing that I learned in my first Miami conference was the best known will beat the best. And this is your opportunity to be the best known on LinkedIn, because only 1% of LinkedIn users are active posters, making your chances or opportunity to be seen so much more than some of those other platforms where the feeds are just constantly happening. So if you're invisible, you are forgettable. It means people are not necessarily going to know about you. And your aim is not to have some viral type of awareness. You want to have local visibility. You want people in your area to start seeing you over and over and over again. For those of you that's done some of my other training would know, I am a huge advocate for the fact that anyone would choose a service provider if they get to see you at least 33 times. So you need to make up with those 33 times, and LinkedIn is a fantastic place for you to get some of those 33 hits if you handle it correctly, and if you make sure that your audience, your crowd, your following, and your friends become people that are in your specific location and area. Okay, so when we get to content, we're looking at specific categories, different categories that we want to hit on. And these are also things that's going to really help you to kind of start developing your content that you want to do. So first of all is authority. So when we speak of authority, we speak of things like market updates, tips, advice, things that you show up in the marketplace or in a platform like LinkedIn with the authority of a real estate agent. So it's anything that is sharing tips, advice, ideas, little things that you deal with where you can give people some advice on moving, on buying, on storage units in the area, on moving companies in the area, little tips of how to pack or how to prepare your house for a photo shoot before you want to put it in the market. So anything related to things that real estate agents know about that the normal jack on the street won't necessarily know, because they might have never bought or sold a house, or if they have done that, they might get the opportunity to do it once or twice in their lifetime. So this is your opportunity to show up with knowledge and interesting tips and facts that is specific to you, knowing the marketplace and knowing how things work, being a real estate agent. Then the next part of content, or your next category that you want to pay attention to, is storytelling. So your storytelling can be anything from a story of something that happened in the industry, something that happened in a transaction, something that happens in your day-to-day. So maybe you are attending a LinkedIn class, or you are attending an event, or you're attending a different training session. Or you talk about your wins or lessons that you've learned. So anything that can form a story profile, and you also need to write it in the format of a story. You're doing a little storytelling, but keep in mind that with the authority post, with the story post, you always want to bring in some visuals. It is shown to us that a lot more people will look and go open up a post and read that post if it does have a visual with it versus only being wording. So when you do your authority post, story post, any of these content categories, you always want to bring in a visual as well. And that visual doesn't always have to be you. It is good to have your face displayed whenever you can, because you do want to repeat that. You want to get it out as much as you can, because remember, you want to be seen 33 times. So always keep that one in mind. Then the next one, proof. Proof is, what do they say? Proof is in the pudding, whatever, that little saying. So this is the first one. You're coming with authority and you're giving tips and you're doing all of that. Your proof is showing that you're actually active in the real estate. So you're doing success stories of a sale or a listing or a marketing plan that you've had. Maybe capped agents. I just did one the other day of all of our capped agents in our group. Maybe reviews that clients have given you, you post out there. So proof of your success, proof of your standards of delivery, proof that you're actually having coffee in a local coffee shop could also be proof of you living in that area, engaging in that area. So depending on what type of tone you want to take with that, but it can be so many different categories. So we go again. First is authority. Second is storytelling. Third one is you sharing proof of you working in the real estate industry or in that specific area. So you can even take that to area, parks, developments, whatever is happening. And then everyone, loves a little bit of reality TV, and this is your opportunity on your LinkedIn profile. It doesn't have to be video, it can also be pictures, but some behind the scenes. You know that a lot of people don't really know what real estate agents do. So this is your opportunity to show a day in the life of, and every week it could be something different of what you're doing behind the scenes. And that could be anything. That could really be you bringing a little bit of your own personality into that, to be able to say, okay, well, this is what real estate agents are really doing. Maybe you're doing a little postbox drop. Maybe you are networking at your local health club, or maybe you are attending a book club. Like anything that kind of draws you into the community is going to be helpful. And anything that shows anything behind the scenes, maybe you are there with a photographer busy taking photos. So you'll have yourself, the photographer, while he or she is taking photos in the shot with this house, showing things that are going on behind the scenes. So this is, I always call it a little bit of reality TV. This is a bit of a reality TV moment, or pictures. And then the next thing is value. Like, what value do you give? This is where you're looking at sharing teachings, how-tos, simple step-by-step, things that can help people in any part of real estate, in whether that being an agent, whether that being someone that lives in the area, whether that be someone that's in a move or in a sale process. So once again, I want you to think of the entire field. I don't want you to just think buyer, just seller. This is your opportunity to throw a little bit of flair, even though your profile is very much on this one thing. So yeah, you will throw it around a little bit to show more of your knowledge, more value that you can add as a real estate agent, to buyers, to sellers, to the community, because that will mean that more people would be like, oh, this person living in my area has shared this, which has been very helpful. It can be a recipe, it can be decluttering, it could really be anything. But every now and then, obviously, you also want to repeat on the value add within your proficiency or professionalism, and that falls in the real estate. So what you want to do is, some people would like literally stick them. Mondays I do this, Tuesdays I do this. I find it a little bit overwhelming, because that means that you're looking at doing 5 posts from the get-go. So I would much rather you divide them up and go, you know what, I'm going to do authority and story this week. Next week, I'm going to do proof and behind the scenes. The following week, I'm going to do value and authority, and then proof and story, and you kind of rotate them on the themes as you bring different little categories of content in. But this also helps you to have a variety rather than just the same things over and over and over. So whenever you're looking for content, whether it be in LinkedIn or one of your other platforms, this is a very good content category template for you to go through, to give you different ideas and to think for buyers, for sellers, for community, under each of these categories, what can I bring in to really show who I am as a person and what I do and what my life and my career is all about. Okay, and then every single post that you do have to have the following things. I'm sure all of you have seen them and you have related to them, but in case this is new to you, let's quickly run through them, because these formulas are important for any type of post that you put out there. So first of all, you want a hook. It's got to be something bold as an opening. So you are asking a question or you're making a statement, and sometimes it needs to be a bit wild, like a wild statement or a wild question. If it's just ordinary, then people are just going to keep on scrolling. We are in a highly stimulating and stimulated atmosphere and industry where social media and TV and music and everything that's available to us is just, there's so much of it. So you need to be careful to not just seem like one of the many, and rather go a bit bold, make a statement, ask a question, but not the ordinary. Use GPT and change it up a little bit so that you can have a good hook and you can really make people stop the scroll and what is this all about and what is this person asking, saying, or talking about. Then you always want to add some value in the content. So the value can be different. depending on what type of post from the previous calendar you're going for. Sometimes it's going to be a longer story format. Sometimes it's going to be short, and you might just ask like a very random potent question, and then you can say my thoughts in the comments. Remember what I was teaching you about yesterday. You want to open with a comment, or you want to stick yourself a comment with first 90 minutes after that post has gone out. So even if you open with a bold statement or a bold question, and then smaller or a little bit of a drop down underneath, ... my thoughts or my opinion on this in the comments. And then in the comments, you go write whatever your thought opinion is on that topic or on that question that you've just raised. Sorry. Okay, then CTA. Who can tell me? Thumbs up. Do you know what a CTA is? Call to action. Okay, so call to action, you always want them to take some sort of action. So for example, if I say my comment is below, I'm actually calling them to action, which means I've got to go read the comment, because I've got to make them inquisitive to read the comment. And then in the comment, I can maybe say something like, share your thoughts on this, or DM me to give me an opinion, or I can maybe call to action for an event that I'm doing, or a book club where I'm attending and I'm calling for them to come and join us. It could really be anything, but what you want the person to do is not just stop there and scroll and continue. You want them to take some sort of action. You want them to engage. You want them to follow a link to go to a website or an article. So the whole idea is that you get them to take some sort of an action with what they're doing. So in any of your posts that you do, it's very important that you understand that your first 2 lines really matters. So you don't want to just like start with a story format, especially if it's not a story post, or start with something that is, I want to say, like a slow start, and then in the middle you hit something more powerful. You really want to plan it that those first 2 lines is the most powerful thing that you've got in there, because if you do that, it's going to drag them in. Whatever value you're going to add, you don't want to do it like in paragraphs and in stories. If you are doing a story, what you can do is use something like a blog article, and maybe you've got a short little intro, and if they click on the blog article, that'll take them to go read the article. That's also a call to action. But in the post itself, you don't want to be writing an essay or a book. Sometimes you'll do longer posts, and if I say longer, I mean doing a rough count here. Let's say 16 to 20 sentences is a long post. So watch for things that become something that would have been on 2 pages of a storybook. That'll be too much. And your call to action also does not have to be loud. I think for a long time we were very exposed, especially on a lot of your social media platforms, on loud call to actions, and you'll still see a lot of them out there where they say, please subscribe to my page, please follow this, please do that. And people are desensitized to it. So you want to find a call to action that's a little bit more intriguing than a call to action that is sometimes too bold. Yes, sometimes you can have the bold, but if you keep on repeating the bold, because people are so desensitized to it, they just don't pay attention. They don't do the call to action because so many people have repeated that. So you want to find smart ways to do the call to action. You want to do a soft approach sometimes to have the call to action. For example, if you make some wild statements, my opinion, in the comments, that's an easy thing for them to engage and push on the comments. But only that little push, even if they don't leave a comment, the fact that they've opened up the comments, which a lot of people don't do because they just scroll past stuff, that immediately shows engagement to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn rewards engagement. Remember that. LinkedIn rewards engagement. That is something that the other platforms do not do to the same extent. So the more that people engage with your post and the more that you engage with other people's posts, that will get rewarded, and your page and your posts and your content that you put out will be seen more the more engagement there is. All sorts of engagement. So I gave you the little pro tip for using images. You want to try and get an image in there. If you can get a video in there, it's got to not all be videos, and it's got to not all be pictures. You have to chop and change a little bit, but use your spacing, use your emojis, make it easier to be reading that rather than just one solid thing. So like I said before, if you do something longer and it's like 16 to 20 lines, then you are looking at probably 4 paragraphs for that 16 to 20 lines as you break it up. People tend to read that much more than if it is a solid piece of writing. So pay attention to the way that it looks, the visual of that, so that it also is appealing to people. And while we move on to the visuals and getting that appealing, obviously, like I just said, we are in such an environment which is so overstimulating. There is the best AI stuff and the best graphics stuff and the best of everything on a visual stimulus. So if things are boring and it's not as visually stimulating, people kind of lose interest and it does not grab them. Sometimes something very simple and boring, and when I say very simple and boring, I can talk about a photo that maybe is not showing your face, looking the other direction, or looking away or looking to something, and you do it very dramatic in a black and white. So something that you push to the extreme, but that can't be your everyday. But as soon as you do something, it might pull more attention, and then you go back to other sorts of visuals again. I think the main thing is that you've got to realize you have to be creative in your designs, chop and change this. This is not where you want to look boring, cookie cutter, same colors, same templates. You want to start mixing it up a little bit. You want to get personal with it. I am sure if anyone walks in your house, they don't walk from the kitchen to the lounge to the dining room, one bedroom to the next to the bathroom, and all you see, everything is monotone. You won't see, unless you're Kim Kardashian, you won't see every bedroom being exactly the same. You won't see the color of the towels in the one bathroom being exactly the same to the next. Sometimes you do, but the idea is there is still changes in it, and that's almost how you want to see your LinkedIn. You want to see different personality. You want to see different things that can attract the attention. It's not the space for you to be boring. You actually want to have nice visuals to make you stand out. Show your face in at least 1 in 3 posts. Okay, so keep track of that. It does not need to be every post. You actually don't want it every post. It's got to not be like, I'm just advertising myself. They're more likely to see you when your face is on, when it's 1/3 versus being on all 3 of them. But you also don't want to go week after week and your face is not there at all. Then avoid stock heavy images. Avoid images that are AI created. You want to be authentic. You want to show a little bit more of yourself, show something that is natural and something that you're out and something that's different, not just the norm over and over and over again. This is not your for sale board where something is like always stiff and looking and showing the same. So try to really be you. And as people, we are chameleons. We are different in the morning than we are in the evening, and we are different at work than we are when we're on the beach, and we're different with colleagues than we are with our family or our friends. And what you want to do on a LinkedIn profile is you really want to show all sides of your personality. You want to show that you can be at the most formal event looking amazing, and then the next day you could be lounging in your pajamas as you're working on social media posts and you are doing something a little bit different. So really think of it as showing all sides of yourself as a person, and no person is like always the same or monotone or just doing the same things all of the time. If you do a video, you always want to add captions to the video. A tool that I love using is the Captions. Easy, you can't forget that one. Captions is an app that you can get. You can download it. It works really well by putting in the words. You select the artwork or the type of colors you want in the wording, the type of font you want in the wording, and you can even go and change it up a little bit so you can emphasize or highlight different words. But I mean, this happens within seconds. So very simple, easy tool to use. I'm sure I don't know if any of you know. You can tell us or stick it in the comments. If you can do this on Canva, you probably can. I just have used Captions for quite a while, and I love it because it's fast. I stick it in there, it does the captions for me, and I know that it's done. And the duration of a video on LinkedIn that works really well is anything from 45 seconds to 90. So not your reels and shorties, that's 15 to 30 seconds. You want to go a little bit longer. So 45 seconds to 90 is showing in the stats that those are the videos that get most engagement, that gets most responses. They might not watch the full video, but if they are in that direct direction of 45 towards 90 seconds, that is normally when the engagement is well, and when LinkedIn is also rewarding you for that video that you have uploaded. Okay, so as we get, yes, Melody.
Sorry to interrupt. Just a few people were commenting. I'm also curious, was the name of that caption app Captions, or is there a different name? You're muted.
It's called Captions.
Cool, thank you.
Called Captions. Let me quickly see. I might even be able to show you. I don't know if there's different ones. Let me quickly pull it up here. Captions. I see that it looks a little bit different.
I know for Instagram you can set it automatically, but I guess LinkedIn's
you
different.
See that one right next to CapCut. It's the third one in the row. Got it. Captions. Okay. So that is the one. Big fan of that. I also use, obviously, that was right next to it, CapCut. Those are probably my two most used apps whenever I do video formatting. I just find both of them very easy for different tasks. So even in Captions, I can also choose, in CapCut, I can also choose to do captions. And in Captions, I can also edit. But I'm always after something that's going to take the least amount of my time and help me do it the fastest. And for video editing, I find that CapCut is the fastest for me. And then to put the captions in, I find that the Captions app is faster. So I used to use them just on free, but I have actually started paying for both of those apps because I love all of the extra things that it gives me when I do pay for them. I don't remember off by heart. You can go check on the App Store how much they are. You definitely get a free period, and then after that, you can do the payments, and then you can also stop them at any time. So it's not like set for a period of time, which actually that's how I started. And then eventually I just got hooked, and I was like, no, I'll just do the year license because it works me out even cheaper to do it that way. So I'm pretty hooked on those two, CapCut and Captions, for any video, not just for my LinkedIn stuff, but also for what I do on TikTok, not really, but Instagram and for Facebook, I use that. And even if I do a little other videos that I'm sending out. Call to actions, I told you some like questions or some things that you can use. So here's a couple of examples. Which one do you agree with most? People like little things like that. They like when there's almost like a little game to play, or there is like an opinion. I almost told you a funny joke about opinions. We'll do that when we're not in recording. But yeah, funny things about opinions. Everyone's got one. I'm sure you've heard that. So people like to raise their opinions. And when you ask them for it, then they tend to engage. And that's what you want. You want them to engage. So next one, have you experienced this? Tell me below, and then whatever you bring up. So it could be an artwork with something, a statement, a question. Have you experienced this? Sometimes it could just be an amazing view, or a maybe like I'm not going to say Table Mountain, but something to the sense of Table Mountain, but in different cities or different places where you almost like, have you experienced this view, or have you experienced this place, or have you experienced the safari, or whatever it is, but just something that will kind of entice. Maybe it's just you sitting on a pile of boxes. Have you experienced that? So you could really go any direction with it. Want my checklist is a very, very good one. Want my checklist, want my download, want my document, and then for them to DM you the word, or even just post below that, give me the checklist. So this could be a packing checklist. This could be a checklist for getting your property photo ready. This could be a checklist for having the best, an appeal from your pavement. What do they call that? Appeal. What am I thinking? Don't know what my words are. But having the appeal for the house from the outside. So various different things, anything real estate. You can even play on people of what they think real estate agents do, and then they can download a checklist of actually what does the process run from the day that we start taking pictures to the day that it registered to the new buyer's name. Just simple little tips and tricks. What is all going to happen in this process? And you will get people that are downloading that. And as they DM you to download something like that, if they're thinking of changing their curb appeal, or there's the word curb appeal, changing, packing boxes, sorting out, getting ready for photos, getting their house ready with paint and whatever, and they DM you, if they don't have an agent yet, you will become their agent. So golden rules: soft call to action first, hard call to action later. Okay, so you don't want to be like first in their face, do this for me, do that for me, follow me, connect with me, all of that. Save that for later. And if I say later, yes, sometimes later in the post, as you get more advanced. In the beginning, I would say save that for later, as you advance in your profile, in your LinkedIn profile. So 3 or 4 months later, that's when you start enticing people with more hard call to actions, that they can either follow you, or DM, or subscribe to you, whatever the case is. But these 3 are all very good call to actions that is more natural. It's not pushy in any way, and it entices them to participate, give an opinion, download a checklist, something that is going to feed into something that they enjoy, something that they're inquisitive about, but also something that could maybe indicate to you that either they're thinking of selling, or they could be thinking of selling in the near future, 6 months, 12 months, whatever the case is from now. Okay, and then repurposing content. One of my favorite things that I feel like people very heavily neglect. So one post can have 5 different users. One post can be used on LinkedIn, it can be used on Instagram, it can be used on stories, it can be used on Reels, it can be used on Facebook, it can be used in newsletters. So you might sometimes take that post and that topic and change it up a little bit. If it goes Instagram, it's going to be more image heavy, less wording. When it goes LinkedIn, you might have more wording and a little bit less of the images. Newsletter, lots of wording or opinion or a breakdown of that subject or that topic. But having that one post can really repurpose everywhere. And you can use the same post as well, depending on the type of content that you've got in that post. So yeah, it gives you a little bit of batch ideas. So if you've got a batched idea, for example, you're doing one story or one value add or one how-to, you can really take that how-to into so many different things. You can have it in a video, you can have it in a text post, you can have it in a newsletter post, you can have it in a screenshot. So you can take that one idea and really milk it. But besides just the repurposing in that format, which I do see people do, what a lot of people don't do is they don't repurpose content again later. It's almost like they think, I've posted that out there and now it's done. It's never done. You can use that even if it's a year later, if it is 2 or 3 months, if it's 2 weeks later. Sometimes you might have put something out, it didn't get a lot of eyes on it, you put it out again. The person that's seen it already is only going to think, oh, I've seen that already and I did like it, or I did comment on it or whatever, and they're going to keep on scrolling. But you need to realize, out of all of the hundreds and thousands of people there, if only 10 or 50 people or 100 people have seen it, there's still millions and thousands that can see it. And what you can always later on do is go, okay, well, I've changed it up a little bit. I changed my wording, I kept the image the same, or I kept my wording the same, but I changed the image, and look at how they hit differently. And you can always go delete the post that actually got less eyes on it, less views on it, so that you don't later on have that repetition in your feed. But not having repetition in your feed, or having repetition for a short period of time, is 100% fine. You want to make sure you put something that you've worked hard on out there more, to give it more opportunities for more eyes to be reached. There's billions and billions of people in this world, and you do not need to not do something. Even if 1,000 people or 10,000 people have seen it, there's still plenty that can see it. So repurposing content across platforms, but also repurposing content that you've used a while back and come with a different angle on that, is always something that you can do. So don't be the person that feels like, oh, I'm running like out of ideas. I'm completely like, I've posted everything that I could possibly post. Maybe you do like, and don't do too extensive tips. So say, for example, you are doing moving day tips, or you are doing prepping for the photographer tips. You don't want to go do 10 tips. You want to do 3 at a time. And you could even do 3 at a time. Say, watch the next 3 tips coming up next week or whatever. There you're already telling them, and if they enjoyed this content, they're likely to follow your page and come back for whatever is going to be coming next. So don't give them everything at once. And if you're going to give them a lot more, like if there is more heaviness in the content that you are giving them, then what you want to do is you want to have that interaction where they are DMing you for something, or they are engaging by posting a specific word at the bottom of that post that you've done, so that you're getting that engagement from that. And you are then rewarding them with something that you've put together that is more value added than just the post that you've put out. Using those to almost start lead funneling with them is very, very powerful, because that person that is looking at tips for paint or tips for their garden, they might not be selling right now, but they might sell in 6 months, or they might sell in a year. And then DMing you and kind of getting that connection, because as soon as they DM'd you, it's also a guide for you to go like respond, send them the document you were going to send them. And then obviously you are now connecting with them and you are DMing them. And it's not because you are cold DMing them. They've asked you for something. They said you are bringing value and I want that value. So it's completely different engagement than just a cold contact that's coming from your side. When you can get them to engage with you first, it's so much easier for you to open the door and build a relationship with that person, versus just you trying to connect with them, you trying to contact them. When it comes from their side, it is way more powerful. Okay. Now, I know that some of you have posted this already, and we're going to move on to that next. But before we wrap up, I've got a couple of repeats from yesterday that I'm going to do after this. But I want to do some questions, answers. We want to do some content credibility. You want to show consistency. I want to get some ideas from you guys. I want us to brainstorm a little bit while we've got a nice live room, things that you've seen, things that you find interesting, things that you think that can work. And I also want you to make a commitment here today. Maybe you posted in the comments, but I would like to know, what is the one post that you'll create this week? Like out of things that you've seen yesterday, creating the landing page, you starting to pick what that avatar is. Out of the content we're discussing today, what is something that kind of draws you in and you're like, oh, I'm going to do that, or I really like that idea. But before we move on to those ideas, I'm going to stop sharing here. And we'll come back to this. I want us to do a little bit of our interaction like Melody suggested yesterday. I love that idea. And for us to go stick in the comments our different profiles so we can spend some time, we can chat. If you want to say something, you don't have to put up your hand, unmute. If it gets too wild, then we put hands up. But I'd love for all of you just to go stick in the comments your LinkedIn profile, and let's grab our phones and start connecting with one another. And this was such a good idea, Melody. I love it. Oh, I'm doing what you're doing, Melody. I think.
Oh my goodness. I was like, my screen went because I went to go grab my LinkedIn link and I was like, where'd it go? I was trying to say something. Lord have mercy. Is it okay if I share some things while people are grabbing their links?
Please go for it.
I had a couple notes. So I've done quite a bit of research actually on content creation, and a few things that you brought up that I thought were like really key points is like that people don't realize is like right now the movement in social media overall is very focused on authenticity. I think people are really over the overly fake, the overly AI, the over the top things. Like they just want people to be real, you know, and things like you said, where you add value and then use that to a call to action. And speaking of call to actions, I know for other social media platforms, when you have a business account, you can automate. So for example, if someone on a post, you say, DM me for this checklist or whatever, and then they DM you for that checklist, then it automatically like directly messages them to create a conversation, but it's all already automated with a few main points. And then if they keep engaging, then it's like, then you can be like, okay, now you can have the link to like book a quick chat with me or X, Y, and Z. Is there automation with LinkedIn?
There is. So I think ManyChat does most of the apps. So the app is called ManyChat, and you can connect to it, and you can actually have one ManyChat account, and it can be connected to your Instagram and to your Facebook. Obviously, there is a cost to it. So if you don't yet have a very busy page, I want you to not use those things, and not because I don't have ManyChat or automation now, I'm not going to ask them to DM me or to post a specific word. But if you are getting busy across your profiles, and you find that you don't have additional time to be able to go manually do that, then that is a good time for you to start adding that. So it's called ManyChat.
ManyChat. Okay, great. I'll download that app. Regarding the caption app that you mentioned, for example, with Instagram, there's just a setting on the business accounts, or maybe even the normal accounts, that you can put when you've created reels, and it automatically will do the captions for you. I'm guessing LinkedIn doesn't have that since you're using the caption app, huh?
Yeah, they don't have that.
Okay. Okay. And then one or two other things I just thought I'd share with the group that might be helpful is, based on the statistics for marketing content creators, if you don't get people to be engaged enough to stay watching your reel or video within the first 3 seconds, they'll scroll past. So essentially that thing what Lizna was saying is about, you really need to try grab people's attention, because if they stick past the first 3 seconds, ideally then they'll keep watching till the end. And then essentially also have to keep doing certain things to kind of grab their attention visually, whether it's coming closer to the camera or like adding in like different things. Also regarding the reposting of content that you mentioned, again, like in Instagram, I know it has its analytics for the professional pages, which you can actually go and see, which posts of mine in the last month or 2 months or however long has had the best engagement, to repost that post. Do you know if LinkedIn has that type of thing?
It
With the
does.
analytics?
It actually gives you really good analytics.
Okay.
It'll show you outside of just like the amount that they watched it. Oh, sorry, I'm LinkedIning in between here. It will also show you the profile of that person that has watched it. So what their current position is like. So you'll be able to see this type of posts. I had really like senior management in companies like this really draw the attention of high-level professionals. And then sometimes you'll see, okay, no, it's more that like the workforce that is looking as this type of post. And that'll also give you a good idea, depending on what your target market is, what type of post they're more drawn to.
Okay, thank you so much. That was so helpful. I think Umpa's hand is up.
Umpo, nice to have you here. Sorry you missed yesterday. I hope you received the recording. You can go for it.
Hello everyone. Thank you for having me today. Sorry, my video. That's my video. Hello. I'm starting to feel nervous because I hear you talk about the reels that you have to have a 3 minutes, 5 or 45 seconds, something like that. I've just posted a video of myself, and I'm not a person of, I'm very shy in front of the camera. So it was my first, not my first, but one of, it's been a long time I have done a video of myself. So I posted a video of myself, a reel, and it went up to 5 minutes.
That's fine. A reel is different. So we're speaking specifically LinkedIn here. But it would be interesting for you to go look at the stats of that reel of what you've done. So for example, let's use TikTok. So I don't know if you know, but when TikTok started, it was like very short. I think people could do like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and then they started extending it. People can literally now, I almost want to say, have a docu-series on TikTok. I don't know who of you are TikTok users, but the more that you post like in a series, so you can do a similar thing on LinkedIn. So say, for example, you're doing a post on organizing tips. So you can maybe have like a very messy cupboard and then you've organized it, and you can kind of like take people through an entire house as you do these things of helping and teaching people to get more organized, and people get addicted to stuff like that. But it's important that when you pack or unpack that cupboard, you are, like Melody just said, you are authentically yourself. So you are talking about this cupboard and maybe you're playing some music in between there, but then you're also sharing something about random thing that just happened in your life today. So whether that be someone in a traffic jam, so you want to engage them by being you and being interesting, and not just be this little real estate doll that is now packing cupboards or talking real estate. You want to bring different things in, and what you do on a TikTok is going to be way more in that line versus what you do. You're going to be softer in your approach on LinkedIn because of the clientele. Remember, our 1 billion users, 65 million of them being decision makers. Your decision makers are your D personalities. Were you in an AHA club, I think, in Durban when I did personality profilers? Not.
No, I wasn't.
I have to do that one next. I feel like we're going to have to throw out an online one where we do some personality profilers because they're so important. So if you look, for example, at a senior executive or your decision makers, they are normally in that role because their personality profile is one of sorts that's very analytical, or one of sorts that is very effective in their decision making. So they like to make fast decisions, big decisions, and they can do it without too much stress, where someone else might freak out if they got to make half the decisions that person is making on a daily basis. So with that as well comes that, I'm going to call it the D personality, that's your strong decision maker. They're normally the drivers of a company, the drivers of a movement, and because they are such strong decision makers, they would also be the hardest people to impress. They're not going to want to listen to the type of chat you'll have on TikTok, but on LinkedIn, they are going to really relate to you if you are down on the jam, you say it as it is. So you might want to take that 5-minute reel that you've done and give it in a highlight format of 45 to 60 seconds on LinkedIn, because the clientele on that is so different. But those are the clientele you really want to speak to, because they are the decision makers, which means if they like you, they are going to decide to work with you.
So how do you take, because now it's a 5 minutes reel, so that highlights to reduce it to 45 minutes? Because I posted on Instagram and posted on TikTok and Facebook. I don't know if people have, even stayed till the end of that video. So because it's the first one and I'm too critical of myself, I'm like, I don't even want to listen and watch myself in that video.
It's good not to listen and watch too much, because then a lot of people decide not to do it. So the fact that you are not listening too much, not looking too much at it yourself is a very good thing, because that means that you are more likely to actually use it. You know how many people make content and then they never use it. So congratulations with posting it out. Let's start there first of all, and let's call this the first of many to come. So the fact that this is 5 minutes or 15 minutes, it's irrelevant. You took a huge obstacle by going, you know what, I feel uncomfortable, but I'm going to do it anyway. And the fact that you've done that means you're winning all the way, because that post, even if just 2 people see it, what if one of them is someone that is wanting to buy or wanting to sell now or in the next 6 months? You never know. But
Yeah.
you wouldn't have had those eyes on them if you didn't go and put your face out there. So taking that action is first of all the most important thing. Then, I don't know if you know this, but you can either, if you don't have a little script of whatever you were saying or little points, you
Yes,
can.
I
Have you got
had.
that?
I had a script.
You had a script. Well done. So now the next step is, if that script is on computer, you copy and paste. If it's written, you take a picture of it, you put it in GPT, and you say, you prompt it, I've made this video, it was 5 minutes long. I now want to get this into a 45 to 90 second video
Oh,
for LinkedIn. What would be the highlights you recommend I use? And it's going to tell you. And it's going to
okay.
tell you way better than I can tell you, because it's going to go look at analytics and it's going to tell you that on a LinkedIn profile, this is what people are going to want to see.
All right. Okay. Excellent. Thank you
Yes.
so much. And it's a
You don't
series
need to
because
re-record.
yes?
You don't need to re-record. You then take that video into, I don't know where you had it before. You can do it in CapCut, you can do it in Canva, and then
Okay.
whatever it tells you to take out, you will be able to cut, like you snip it, you take that
Oh.
part out, and then you do like an overflow. So it's like a highlight, a highlight, a highlight, and then you've got a transition clip in between them. So whether it's stars going off or a slide going off, taking you from one to the next. And then remember, if there's no captions, you want to add some captions to it.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll do that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Oyentanda?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I just want to quickly start by introducing myself. My name is Oyentanda, or you can call me Ozzy. I'm from Pretoria East. Is it okay if I call you Lizna, or can I call you Pam?
Ozzy, love that. No, Lizna, please.
No, so something else that you must know about me. I recently graduated from high school. I'm doing my first year in in a business school called Regent, doing a higher certificate in management of estate agents. So I'm pretty new on the scene. I'm pretty young as well. And as a young person, when I'm hearing you talk about this content creation, I can't help but ask, as a young person myself, I don't know if you guys know about memes.
We know about memes. I guess we all know about memes. Guys, do you? Show us some thumbs up.
No, so I wanted to ask, on LinkedIn, would that be a smart move to be, posting, when you're posting to try and engage your audience or clients, however you want to word it? Would it be smart to use those memes? Because I find that I, as a young person, am very engaged. It feels more relatable when somebody posts something a bit humorous. It's more it feels more authentic than just like some super formal post or whatever. I just want to know, would it be smart to make that move or not?
I love your question, Ozzy, and it's for me a multiple part question. I'm going to tell you why. So first of all, I work with an amazing agent. Congratulations, well done with you guys moving into real estate at such a young age. Let's start there first of all. I absolutely love the new generation of real estate interest that we've got. I have an amazing lady in my team called Princess. If you have not seen her on social media, the Property Princess, she's worth following. And we always have the best time as we laugh because, obviously we're way older than what you guys are. And when my kids say to me that Facebook is old-fashioned, I'm like, it's impossible. It didn't exist when I was at school, so it can't be old-fashioned. So I know you guys think that that's super old-fashioned. And then according to Princess, LinkedIn is on another level of old-fashioned. So let's start with that there. I do 100% get what you're saying. The next thing I'm going to say to you is I love how you speak and how you were just explaining to us who you are and what you do and how you're phrasing your questions. I can imagine you being funny at times. My funny is very dry most of the time. You need to really get to know me to catch on to my funny. I'm also a very strong personality type. I'm a very strong DC. And as a very strong DC, sometimes it's a very black and white personality. There's a lot of the color missing. You only learn about the color later in life. So for my personality type, not my age, I am not always the sharpest on all memes. Saying that means some memes I like and I laugh at them, and some memes I just don't get it. So you got to think about that, and then you got to ask yourself, of the 1 billion users, 65 million decision makers, what is their age group? And are they going to get this meme that you're using? Because yes, you can use a meme, but those decision makers needs to understand that meme because that meme might be different than the different memes you'll be using on different sites. And do you want to post a meme that they are not going to understand when they are a decision maker? And I'm not saying that they are not smart. Could just be my personality type that does not always catch on to all of the memes, but you want to be sure that for their age profile and being a decision maker that you post a meme accordingly. But saying all of that, yes, I do think it's a good idea if you are smart about it, because bringing in some humor when that is natural for you and when it is a meme that they will catch on to. So when I say that, I've got a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old, and I've seen some memes that I was on the floor because it's so funny. And then I've seen some memes that I was like, why is this funny? Now, if you're going to have someone of that profile go, why is this funny? It means that you probably catered to the, let's say, 25 or below age group. My question to you would be, does the 25 or below have the money to invest in what you are working on? And that's how you're going to suss out whether something is correct to post or not. I hope that was helpful.
No, yeah, it was. Thank you so much, Lesna. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I love that question. It makes us think and go into different conversations. Ozzy, well done.
Thank you very much.
Melody, you're up next.
I think Melanie is ahead of me,
Oh,
actually.
yes, there's a number one. Sorry, Melanie.
No problem. Can you hear me? Okay, great. So it's finally working. I started the LinkedIn profile yesterday. I worked on it a little bit this morning as well. But it asked me questions. I don't have a qualification except like I'm a graphic designer type of thing, but it's nothing. It's basically just diplomas and stuff like that. And I certainly don't have a degree. So I didn't know what to put in this. I just put in like professional, I got my PDE 4 qualification. So that was the first thing. And then I already had a LinkedIn profile. Then when I went here, I just need to get to my freaking profile now. Sorry. So when I actually went there, I looked at my profile, and now I've got 2 profiles. So I'm a bit confused. Must I take the About Me out? And then, because on my Add Profile section, I've added that in. So it seems like I've duplicated it.
Yeah, I would definitely just have one so people can find you and they know who you are. Did you not have an old one?
Yes.
And then you started a new one? So if you still have access to the email address of that old one, you would be able to go and take it off. This has happened to me in the past. I actually think I had 3 at one stage, and I really struggled to clean it out then because I didn't have access to it anymore. So if you can take it off, definitely do. But look out of the 2 which one is developed most, and rather go work on the one that has got following, that has got some sort of history. Maybe you've done some sort of these questions already, and you can always add on to it. You can always remove stuff. I would still, if you've done graphic design, I would still go add that, because what's going to happen is another graphic designer is going to connect with you, even though that is not your profession anymore. It's not what you focus on. You want that connection, because that connection is going to build to your circle. So don't think that it only needs to be real estate relevant. Even previous job job careers that you've had, or jobs that you did, because that will bring different audience that will attract to your profile. And you want to get that audience, because those audience could also be homeowners. Those audience could also be potential buyers. So you don't want to lock them out by not opening yourself up to that. And that's why you can, even when there's a hobby that you regularly perform on, you always want to add things, little more personal things, because that'll attract a different crowd to you than it would even if you and Melody were down the street from one another. Your profiles will engage with different people because of everything that you've posted on there that is personal to you.
Okay. So I can just add. So I didn't mean 2 profiles. I didn't have. Well, the one is MMS, which is my other company. But so that one I've managed to sort out. So I've got specifically an EXP, but it's the about info that I've now got.
Got you. Okay, so the about info. Yeah, so the about info, I would be very specific as per yesterday's lesson to talk about your area, your service offering, your profile that you want to talk to. Definitely.
Okay, right.
So you can update and edit that.
I'll just update and edit. Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Okay, Melanie. Melody?
No, it was just a quick tip for Mpho, because she was getting a bit stressed out about and I totally hear you, because honestly, sometimes when we talk and we're trying to explain something, I think what Lizna said, having a script like pre-planned to hit your main points is one helpful tip. Another thing is definitely use CapCut for sure, to kind of like, you can cut out chunks. If you see you're umming and ahhing, or you're saying fluff information that's not hitting your main points. I mean, she gave a great recommendation of hitting in ChatGPT to kind of streamline the highlights. That's really helpful. And then on top of that, also, if you do talk slower, because I find when I'm editing my videos, when I'm explaining stuff, I talk kind of slow. So I end up speeding up my voice to at least 1.5 speed, obviously where you're not sounding robotic. But if you speed it up a little bit, it can definitely help keep the time down, because definitely that time suggestion that Lizna mentioned of 45 to 90 seconds is key. If you put anything longer than that, you're going to get little to no engagement, and you have to make sure to have that kind of super engaging something in the first 3 seconds to get people to watch till the end.
Thank you. That's helpful. I'll do that.
Thank you. Who's next? Sorry, I can't see the hands now. I've moved screens.
It's Irma.
Irma, go for it.
Hi, I've got 2 things. Thank you, ladies. I'm really enjoying this. I wanted to pass a comment for Ollie. I come from a very diverse background where I grew up with different nationalities. And when we're doing any videos, sometimes we want to use hand signals. Like, for example, where you say, okay, in South Africa. Don't ever use that on anything, on LinkedIn or anywhere, because if someone from overseas is looking at it, in some countries, it means you're an a-hole. So we've got to be very careful with our gestures. I would just recommend that, because it's so easy to step in it without even meaning to.
Love
Hello?
that.
No, I mean,
we can
we
hear
went
you.
to Brazil. I used to be in corporate. I won a trip to Brazil, and we actually got a course on what to do and what not to do. And I'm of the age where we had to go on cultural diversity training because of all the different people in the industry I was in. And it was actually so eye-opening. So I think that's very, very important. And then for Mpho, if you've got videos, my other sideliners, I do training, I do Fika training and papaya and all that. So when we do that kind of training and we create videos to post, a lot of the videos are too big. And there's this free program called Handbrake. And it actually reduces the size of your video without messing up your quality.
Thank you so much, Irma.
Thanks for
So
that,
that's all I
Irma.
wanted to say.
Lynelle,
Thank you,
I think
ladies
I saw
and
your
gents.
hand
Have a
up as
fabulous
well.
afternoon.
Sorry, what was the name of that app just before you go, Irma?
Handbrake.
Handbrake, thank you.
Like a car handbrake?
Listener, can I talk?
Yes, please, Nal.
Hi, listener. Okay, so unfortunately, I missed yesterday. We had power issues in East London yesterday. So I'm not sure if you covered it yesterday or not, but I've got my personal page as well as a business page. Do you then share content between the two, or what do you suggest?
You can do. I don't always do it. I've also got both. I've got one for the brand, and then I've got one for me personally. And sometimes I have different vibes that I'm going for that. The one is very much me and what I'm doing, and the other one is about the team and about the agents and about what they're doing. So unless it really, I want to say, truly relates to me, I would share something across. Otherwise, I won't just necessarily go and push back and forth, because my crowds on the two pages are very different.
Perfect. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, sorry, just to add on that, I also have two accounts because my personal account has got more following and my business account has less. So I still need to pull some other. So I do a collaborate between the two accounts for now. Maybe that will also
100%.
depends where you are with your account as well, the followership and everything.
Definitely. Okay, guys, so we're quickly going to do just a recap of yesterday. So I'm recapping on this because it's very important. So you want to get engagement on a post that you do within 90 minutes. That's when you are going to go comment on something if you have to. If you tagged someone, let them know you've tagged them. That'll at least send someone to that post. Next thing is using the right hashtags, not too many. You want to go for 3, one broad, one niche, and one personal. And then the timing that you post on LinkedIn really matters. Mondays, business, corporates are really busy. They're not looking at anything else. Tuesdays to Thursdays are showing the highest stats for posts that are done between 9 o'clock and 12 p.m. So in the morning, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then tag people, not for attention, only if they are relevant to the post. It is going to mean a lot for you if you tag someone and they go interact on that post. If you tag someone and you tag a lot of people and they don't interact on that post or even visit the post, you will get penalized from LinkedIn side. So be careful if you tag people, tag them for the interaction, not for attention or visibility. That won't be rewarded the same. What not to do, don't scroll aimlessly. You want to go for that 10 minutes. Don't do bro marketing where you're doing what you're seeing in other places. Do what you want to do, something that speaks to your area, your neighborhood, your main avatar clientele. Post with intention, rather don't post if you don't have something that you feel really strong about, but don't overthink. Don't overthink too many things, rather focus on something that's real to you. I just saw Johan post something and ask, what about rugby and I think you said interest rate or petrol prices or whatever. For the right clientele, yes, if that is something that interests you, it means that it's going to draw people that interest you. I personally, I'm not the biggest fan. I love Springbok rugby, but I'm not really always inclined to be looking at people's opinion post on it. If it's something interesting about it, I will look. If it's an opinion, like so many, I'm going to say bromances, will post all of their negative, positive opinions, comments, like on Facebook posts. A lot of people will scroll past those because they do it weekend after weekend after weekend. So something that you feel strong about, something that you think is nice, and if there is a clientele that will be drawn to it, but you don't want to just be all about that because you might lose more people than gain. 10 minutes in bed. This is the thing I'm going to advocate for. I hope you did your 10 minutes in bed last night or this morning, where you're doing 5 to 10 comments that you are posting more than 3 words. You want to go 5 to 10 words comments on there. It's the easiest thing to quickly go on your feed, comment on a couple of people, see that you've read something, see that something's interesting to you, and interact with them. Reply to every comment on your own post. Even if there's just 2 or 3, go and reply to them. They matter. Make sure that you send 10 new connections every day, 10 new connections, and they will lie there. If they're not accepted, if someone does not connect back, they will lie there. Let them lie there until you get to a place where, okay, it's full, you can't do new connections. Then you go, undo the ones that you've done and you can do it. And believe me, it takes a long, long, long time. But you don't want to go do hundreds a day. You want to do 10 a day. Comment on 5 to 10 posts. Make sure you comment on everyone that commented on your post, and then do some interactions as well, like, support, celebrate. As you go through some of those posts, that engagement will be rewarded where more people will see your post because you are engaging with other people's posts. Then on your email, you can watch out for this recording. I'll be sharing the recording again if you want to recap on it, but I will also be adding a document for you, a PDF document that is giving you some great post and content ideas for real estate that you can use. And that is us for today. So remember, tomorrow is not the other one. It's only on Thursday, and it's a half an hour later. So South African time, 4:30 on Thursday. We are starting. I'm actually driving from another appointment. I'm going to try and leave there sooner so that I can be here sooner, hopefully early enough. Otherwise, just hang tight. I promise you I will be there. That's on the 27th on Thursday at 4:30. And we are checking out what can we do after doing LinkedIn for Leads, building that landing page, working on our content. How can we collaborate more, and how can we get more referrals and also become a referral partner on LinkedIn. And then, by the way, while we're talking about all sorts of things authentic, these images were made by AI. They are not pictures that I have taken. So sometimes you use a little bit of that, as long as you don't use it all of the time. Anyone else with anything else, anything you want to ask, anything you want to say before we end off for today? Please go for it. Melody, go.
Sorry, I hate to always be the first one. I just was going to ask, before we end the call, could we just leave it open? I mean, I can stay on since I'm co-host, just for everyone to go click on people's links and have a moment to be able to do that in case they haven't.
Yeah, definitely.
I can keep it open for like 5 minutes.
Questions, but that would be awesome. Thanks, Melody. Vaughan, nice to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see everyone. I just want to say thank you, Lizna, once again. We appreciate it. And then, yeah, Mpho, you're actually very engaging, and off the bat, I think you just post because people are going to love it. I watch everyone's faces as you were chatting, and there's already engagement. So I think, I don't know if you're setting us up there, but I think you keep going. And then Ozzy, just a quick one is, I find it interesting because we, and I think Lizna as well, just wanted to get that, almost reverse the question to you, to say, like, what are the youngsters doing if this is what the old people are doing? Because it's always interesting and things are changing so quickly. I remember my first WhatsApp that I got from my clients, I actually screen grabbed it, and it's not so long ago, because if you're screen grabbing, it's just the other day. And I just had WhatsApp, and it was like really to the friends. And I got this message, and I didn't respond to it because I knew that it would put me in a position where maybe this is like an informal chat. And at that stage, I was working for a large-scale developer, and I realized immediately maybe that's not the platform. And then you fast forward years later, and everyone's on WhatsApp. So what's happening today might not be happening tomorrow. So memes might be the next thing in. But for now, I almost feel like if you were going for a job interview and you were going to a gentleman or a female who's been in the industry for many years, what would you want to see if you went onto the categories? Would you not want to see something different and more formal on LinkedIn, and then maybe something informal on Instagram, and something more jokey, meme-like maybe on TikTok, or not meme-like, but more informal on TikTok, and meme-like maybe? So that's what I was going to say. Maybe each platform, I would be impressed if I went into the different platforms as I do with potentially Lizna, and I look and I can see she's siloing the different platforms maybe in a different way. So that was going to be my little 2 cents right at the end. But thank you, Lizna.
I really love that, Vaughan. I think it is very, sometimes reversing that question on yourself, and looking as well at age that it's going to grab. And I mean, Ozzy, you can put that question back to me to say to me, okay, Lizna, but who is going to be buying most houses in 10 years from now? And you could be building up a crowd for an audience I won't be able to grab, probably. So there's so many different angles you can look at something like that. And it depends on where you're at right now. Who do you want to attract? And I love what Vaughan is saying, because I do try and do that as far as I possibly can, because each different platform speaks to different people. And like I just said earlier today, it's very important to remember that we are not monotone as people. We don't just always speak the same way or the same way in different atmospheres. I mean, a girl's afternoon around the table on a wine farm is very different than me being busy with a LinkedIn session. It is just different. And it's not because I'm a different person. It's because one time I'm focused on one thing and the other time I'm focused on something different. So it's important that you try and have your memes and have your funny and have your moments, because it is going to attract different crowds of people, but you also want to show your versatility. So that's why I'm saying do a meme. Probably when you start off on LinkedIn, I would say like twice a month, you'll stick out a meme and you're going to really think that meme through. Is the executive that is going to buy the 10, 12 million rand house going to understand this meme? Because of TikTok, movies, what is out in the media, what someone the age 40 plus versus someone the age 20 to 30 is watching is very different, which means they don't always catch onto that joke and catch onto that humor because they did not see the movie or the reel or the TikTok that went viral that was related to that. And they needed to see that to know that it was actually very funny. But because that didn't fall in their scope, they're not actually going to catch onto the humor that you're displaying there. So it's important that when you use a platform like LinkedIn for something like that, you test and trial out a little bit and see who are you catching with what and what type of people are looking at it and spending time with it. So I hope that that was helpful. And I love what you said, Vaughan. Thank you. I saw the same thing, Melody. Some of the links did not work. Luckily, I've got the name list here, and I'm trusting and hoping you're going to come find me, but I have tried to connect with everyone that shared something. Lanelle, I see you here, and I'm like, while your face is on, let's quickly shine a little spotlight if anyone ever wanted to network with you. Lanelle's got her own business, and she is in East London. We met at a AHA Club. And then Humpo, I love the fact that you are in KZN. And then Melody, I love the fact that you're in Pretoria, right? I'm so clueless with Gauteng. For me, it's all one thing.
I'm in Centurion, more specifically. It is in East Pretoria, but I am equal distance to Joburg as I am to actual Pretoria.
Love that. And then Vaughan, I'm just picking on those that's got cameras on. Vaughan is luxury property, city center, and all around Cape Town. So it's good to have like so many different provinces here. I love seeing all of the faces.
Yeah, thanks very much for having us, Lisna. It's been a great course. Thanks.
Amazing. And I'm looking forward to our last one. And then I'm also looking forward to seeing some of you with that business planning for the next year. I get really excited. Whenever I can make plans, I get excited. It gets me excited to set some goals because it keeps us on track when life is trying to steer us in a different direction. Yeah. So I am going to stop our recording here, but thank you all
Lisna.
for being here. You're
Thanks,
welcome,
Lisna.
Cynthia.
Thanks, Simul listener.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lesnar.
Thank you.